I think we're going. You got the monitor there. Good evening to you. It is Sunday, March 16th, Selection Sunday. Live from AJ's, and it's 7:25 p.m. You know what time that is? It's time to start a live quick cast reaction show. So, Purdue was in the tournament. We knew that was going to happen, but we didn't know exactly what we'd get there. Of course, again, the Big Ten tournament proved to be worthless. We have a consensus here among the live studio audience says the same thing. Purdue was prognosticated as a 4 or a 5 seed. They lose to Michigan in embarrassing fashion. Right, not a good effort, regardless of how you want to spin it. And they get the 4, and Michigan goes to the 5, of course. So if anybody wants to tell me that the Big Ten tourney means anything, go right ahead and sell away, but you're going to have a hard time convincing me that it's true. Anybody who's watching live, see some of you guys, let me know how the sound quality, video quality is, because Adam's kind enough to host here, but we're still feeling our way through everything. So yeah, you can see it live. So he's looking at me on his phone from 5 feet away. So I'm going to talk about a couple things that got my attention. Michael's here, Todd's here, my dad's here live, Adam's here. But I'm going to tell you guys some of the things that are interesting about this. We did some, not deep dive, I wouldn't call it, we said deep dive, but we looked in a little bit, some of the interesting factoids. Before we get to Purdue, we can talk about, Purdue will play Thursday, right? And they'll play, where are they playing again? Providence. Interesting thing about Providence, I used to live in the Northeast. One thing, I went to the tournament in Connecticut, and I went to the NCAA tournament in Boston. And I can tell you, I saw Purdue play in Boston in the Garden, in the Fleet Center. And one thing I can tell you, there's a pretty healthy Purdue Alumni Association in the Boston area. So that's a good thing for Purdue, obviously. I think anybody who's watching from the Boston area will reaffirm that. Really, I mean, solid. DC's Alumni Association is also good. My buddy Roy was the head of it for many, many years. But the Northeast is kind of good for Purdue because Purdue alums are everywhere, as we all know. So that's an interesting thing. Purdue's going to play High Point. Last time they played High Point was 2011 in Mackey Arena. And I told Todd that it was a loss. I said, yeah, Purdue lost that game. And the reason Todd gives me the truth, Purdue actually won 67-65. And I said, that's a win that felt like a loss. And that must be what I was thinking. But I took my medicine as that's the first time I've been wrong this decade. So, and then I was wrong shortly after again. Another good factoid that Todd brought up was the fact you've got here. See, we can ask the floor here, but what score first shooting guard, is that a fair? Transferred from High Point to Purdue in the recent years. I don't have any Jeopardy music or anything, but that's Jihad Proctor. So he went from 16.5 points at High Point, dropped down to 9.9 points. He was kind of a gap filler between Carson Edwards and Jaden Ivey. And he was on the team. This is the interesting thing. This is Matt Painter's 10th straight NCAA tournament berth. It's one of the best in America. The top 3 have huge leads that Painter could never catch, honestly. Izzo's one of those guys. Up in the 20s. Kansas is 30 straight. And then he drops down significantly. Purdue tied in 4th with 10 straight. But Painter, of course, stayed alive because of that 2019-2020 season that didn't have a tournament at all. And then the next tournament, because I was talking to my buddy Handel via text, he asked the question, does this team remind you of any of them? And we're going to dive into this even deeper tomorrow, the tournament talk. And this is something you ask, you get around Boiled Sports. Many people on Twitter have said, will there be Handsome Hour basketball beat type format coming up? And I'm going to tell you guys, Monday, I think it's been confirmed that it's going to happen. So tomorrow night we'll have I think it'll be better analysis than this, because this is, of course, off the cuff. Bunch of amateurs, yeah. Not pros like Jay Money and Anish. Oh, boy. Yeah. Lofty. So Monday night, probably around 9 p.m., 9-ish, as we like to say, we'll come to you with some tournament reaction, some matchup reaction. I've already got some from LBD. He said they've got good guard play. High Point played really high level for a couple weeks this year towards the end of the season. So they're a good team. They shoot really well. I've got to do some research on how old their guards are. I'm guessing they're not going to be too old because it typically doesn't work that way down in the that level, but maybe that's one thing I'm very interested in, because I've said all year that's an Achilles heel of this Purdue team, playing physical guards that want to score. That's been tough for Purdue. Physical, athletic guards, but we know they can shoot. So is that big of a deal? We'll see. A couple interesting things that happened in the tournament, I think, just on first blush. Of course, UNC gets in. I did not think they were worthy of a tournament berth. That's almost like a legacy seeding. They get in. They were 1-12 versus what do they call them? Q1? Is that right? Quad one. 1-12. Texas also gets in. The SEC gets an immense amount of respect from the committee. It's like all their moms were on the committee. They get 14 teams in, and at the same time, on that same bubble that popped for some, IU was one of the teams that popped. They did not get in. I know many of you in the margin are upset about it. I'm sure tons of IU fans will be coming over to cheer for Purdue in Indianapolis when Purdue gets the second weekend. We'll talk about that later. 8 Big Ten teams in. Let's see. Purdue will play Thursday. I think I said that one already. University of Michigan is that 5 seed, and their route is tough. I'll tell you why it's tough. I think it's tough right out of the chute. That UC San Diego, I think that's who it is. That team's good, and that's a team that my son LBD was pleading with me to let them in the tournament. I kept saying I don't have much of a say in who gets in the tournament, so I don't know if I can help you, but he should be pretty happy. I haven't talked to him about that. Should be pretty happy about that. One thing that stood out to me, I think this is really interesting, in the South region. You've got these 3 monstrous defenses. They're all coming out of the same place. Not all of them can come out. Not only one can come out. In fact, we have Michigan State, Ole Miss, and Iowa State, and I think that's something to watch, because generally offense beats defense in the NCAA tournament, but all these 3 are going to clash in some way. I think Ole Miss and Iowa State would play second round, if I'm remembering correctly. But let's see, what else? Oh, Seth Davis, in his always vast wisdom, has picked High Point. And in the words of, I think it was my brother, I thought Purdue was going to get beaten until I saw that Seth Davis picked High Point. So that's a pretty good one. The questions I think we're all going to have before I go live to you guys, see what you guys have to say, is how are Smith's legs going to hold up? That's probably my biggest one. Todd brought up a good point. It wasn't just last year. It's 3 straight seasons in the postseason, right? Did one of you guys say that? Did you say that? Okay, you said it. Yeah, Adam said it, because I thought of last year right away that Smith's legs were dead at times in the tournament. But freshman year, that makes sense. Right. I think we all said that, right? Oh, they got the freshman wall. Yep. But that's 3 straight postseasons that you his legs and shooting the ball at the front of the rim has come into question. Yeah, 39. He in the Big Ten tournament, I think he had 38 and 40. So, I mean, paint goes with the horse that brought him. There's no doubt, but it's got to be a big question. So, another interesting factoid for Indiana basketball fans out there: the state of Indiana. Purdue is the only representative from the state of Indiana, and I can remember there's been 5 teams from Indiana in. Had 7 1 year. Mm-hmm. So that's a little interesting. So I'm going to get to you guys now. Let's see. Yeah.
Breaking news. Tweet for you.
What's this?
They're coming in.
Okay. So yeah, this is good. Sam King, he's Gannett, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he does both Journal and Courier and Star. But Sam King says Matt Painter says Fletch Lawyer sprained his elbow. He's not practicing. But he definitely will play. That's good news. That elbow had purple and green, and it was oversized. But a sprain, that's real good news. I'm surprised it wasn't a bone bruise. Actually, the way. Yeah, looked really bad. Looked really bad.
At least he got an assist on the play.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding. But Brian Newbert said he could hear it hit the floor, and he said he thought it could have been fractured. So, yeah, that's gross. It's gross. So, all right, so I'm gonna talk to you guys live. I don't know how long I'm gonna be on today because of the Handsome Hour coming tomorrow, but and my dad is enjoying a pint from AJ's. What are you drinking tonight?
I've gone with Coors Light.
Coors. Yeah. Is the banquet beer the same as Coors Light? No different.
No.
Oh, that's the beer.
Don't mix it.
Talk about the potentially needy 8 matchup.
Oh, that's a good one. That's good. Michael, there's a potential, if Purdue can get through the gauntlets in front of them, that they would play Tennessee in Indianapolis. Winner goes to the Final Four. And the first thing I said was, I think this is a brutal thing to do to Tennessee because, man, oh man, they've had their problems with Purdue, obviously, in the NCAA tournament. Huh? Not this year. No, they had Auburn, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Alabama in the SEC. So. Right, just last year. Go back way back to just over a year ago right now. So and Purdue beat them, of course, in Louisville. I was there to get to Virginia. I don't know what happened that game. I can't remember a thing. And then I forgot. And then Purdue beat them in Detroit, and many tears of joy were shed by this host, I can tell you that much. So Nate Dolans is here first, and he corrected himself with the correct spelling right away. Kevin Albuquerque says, "Good evening, Dowd. One game at a time." Exactly. And here's the thing: it's okay for me to look ahead, though, because I'm not going to affect the outcome. But you guys, I think, should take it one game at a time, and obviously Maddie and company should as well. Andy Ide says, "High Point about to meet their low point." Oh, that's quick. It's concise. Zach Young, Michigan fans are big time mad. I haven't even been on Twitter yet, but I look forward to that. And I've got some friends that are Michigan alums, so I'll have to stick my toe in that water a little bit. Huh? Yeah, they're mostly English. That's right. Sporting Warrior says Seth Davis already picked High Point to beat Purdue. Yep, talked about that, and I said if you're, Seth Davis's accuracy. He's a weird guy because sometimes he gets on Purdue and he's like all in. 2 years ago, I think when Purdue lost FDU, I think he was all in on them that year. But you know who wasn't? Jay Wright. I think Jay Wright thought Purdue should be on upset alert, and I was like, for real? And then I don't remember what happened. I don't know. I blacked out. Yeah. Indian Colorado says pretty favorable draw for Purdue. I agree. Hopefully they don't do the thing they like to do some years. This is so. I said this. I put my thoughts in a podcast about this just a little bit ago about how Purdue is not an opportunistic team this year, right? So they get a decent seeding. The one I didn't want to see is I didn't want to see McNeese State. I thought that 5-12 had Purdue's name on it, and I was like, okay, they're going to bow out right away. High Point's a good team. That's the first thing. High Point's a good team, but like I said, this team's not opportunistic. So we'll have to look at. What did you find? Did you see those guards? What do you find? Look at this. This is awesome. All I see is that 23 right there. Yeah. What position does he play? Okay. So it looks like the composite age would be. It's probably average 21, right? So, yeah, High Point's average age, the starting five looks to be 21 by quick math. It'll be just over 21, right? 21.3 years. I wish I knew which position these get, what the guides were. Oh, wait. Yeah. So, but that's their experience. They're definitely experienced. I'm not going to claim to say that I've watched a bunch of High Point basketball, but I did see a little bit of them about a week or two ago. And LBD and I actually talked about High Point. One of those, I think I've told you. Sometimes I'll call him after a Purdue game. He's up and at him. I know I can get him. We'll talk about basketball. So talk to like 1:30 because that's what you should do when you're 49. It's okay for him. It's really not for me because I pay a price. First round potential says, "Congrats, Boilers." Sound is great. Thank you. Appreciate that. Andy Hyde said loves this draw. Frail Hammer say Hoosiers on spring break. Exactly. They're gonna take advantage of it. They're gonna get out of town. You know, maybe Woodson will drive them down to Daytona. Very, very good. Let's see. Big time Boiler, my pal Grant says number 4 in the Midwest. Gift from God himself. I agree. It's a very, very good. It's a generous seating. Kyle Ray says, put Adam on the stream. Love me some AJs. You want to come on?
I'm good.
Okay, he says he's good.
I already messaged him.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, did you? All right, that's great. So he's the guy who gets things done. He's not out in front of the camera fool. I'd say that. So, but yeah, there you go. A good request. So, let's see. Zach Welch says, Boiler up, what a great day. IU missed the tournament. Plenty of bulletin board material already given. One game at a time. Yeah, Seth Davis will do that. One game at a time. Survive and advance, Boiler up. I did see the CBS guys because I was half watching that right before we switched over. There were a couple of them that believe in a High Point. And maybe Jay Wright was saying that. Was it Jay Wright or who was it? I don't know who was it.
They were also saying Michigan.
They're saying Michigan's going to lose?
Purdue were both the upsets.
Also, if you listen to the media, not only should 14 SEC teams made it, all of them should have made it. And they all should have been number 1 seeds. And sadly, they couldn't get their wish. That's sad. Ron Gable, my pal, says, committee rarely values any conference tournament results unless the winner is a bid stealer. You're right. And the longer I'm around the Big Ten tournament, the less I care. I wish I could say that was going to change.
Held that for many years.
Yeah, let's see. They did. They're one of the last to do it, right? Let's see. Sorry, this thing jumps around me. Nick Castellano says 8 consecutive tournaments. We've been a top 4 seed. That's a good factoid. That's a good one, Nick. Most in the country in that span. Pretty impressive. Love our draw. Yeah, and generally that 4 line is a break point. It gets a lot harder, obviously, the 5, but let's not be fooled that a 4 is a guarantee of a dub. And I think we are all Purdue fans. You're not saying that, Nick. I'm not going to do it, but I love the draw too. Sam Hageman says, why should power conferences even play tournaments? If the games don't matter, I'm not going to argue with generous seeding, though, but sheesh. Could have accepted a 6 seed with how this team has looked. Huh? Exactly. It's all about money. And it's all about
Said that a long time ago.
right. And they all, it's made for TV event, right? And I can tell you, if it's not your team in the conference tournament. So, for instance, if you're watching the SEC and that was a fun, dramatic game between Tennessee and Auburn, for instance, right? That's 2 heavyweights battling out. It's fun to watch, right? That's what it's all about. It has nothing to do with anything else. And hardly, let's think, what's the last team in the Big Ten that Michigan rushed through and won the championship through Purdue? Remember their plane slid off the runway, and I think they won the championship against Purdue, I believe. And I think they were a bubble team, but they got in. But that's the last really dramatic Big Ten tournament I can think of. But a lot of people thought they were going to be a bubble team anyway, so they might have gotten in, but they guaranteed themselves. Generally, the Big Ten tournament, though, yields pretty results. So, and it delivered this year again in that Michigan-Wisconsin game we all wanted to see. Let's see.
It just came out.
Yeah. So we got.
Very nice.
They have the time. They don't have the time yet, right?
No.
It's nice graphics. Purdue's creatives kill it. So, but yeah, High Point 4 versus 13. Yeah. So
Regional, Rhode Island.
yeah. You watch Purdue represent. Listen for it. Listen for the Purdue alums. They'll be great out in Providence.
Purdue won was 2018.
2018. Okay.
The last time you made it different.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think anybody else you can. I mean, Penn State was a bubble team when they played Purdue in the championship. Is that right? Right? 2 years ago. I think they were. Yeah. So, but that Michigan one, that was a real difference maker. So, first round potential, so Purdue travels well. And this, I mean, we travel well just like Iowa because we got alums everywhere, right? That's really the trick. That's why if you got a big public school with some alums that are relatively successful, they're in other regions doing well. Tarek Campbell says Painter is the X factor versus High Point. Painter is the X factor versus High Point. You think he's the guy gets it over? He's the X factor. That's what I've never. All right. Michael says, how crazy would it be if Tennessee and Purdue were to meet up in the Elite Eight in Lucas Oil? So is that your comment? You change your username sometime. But that comment comes from, it was beamed up to a satellite, and then it was beamed right down here, and he's 5 feet away from me. So it's awesome. Yeah, that's right. That's
I
right.
did it before Keith Freeman earlier.
Right. Who's Johnny says, if we beat High Point, I like our chances against Clemson. Clemson's a tough team, but the ACC has been weak this year. And the funny thing is, so you got, did they get 4 in? ACC got 4?
Yeah, I think that's right.
And that's a low number for ACC used to be the power. It's kind of interesting when you listen to ESPN talk about how good the SEC is this year. And they've gone through this when they fall in love with a conference. Generally, there's money on the line, right? And I can tell you the examples I can think of. See if you guys remember this, right? Of course, they own the SEC network. ESPN does, right? So this year they were, oh my gosh, this is the greatest conference. There's never been a conference like this. What are we gonna do? My head's gonna explode every time I have to watch SEC or get to watch SEC. And I can remember the ACC used to be the apple of their eye, but the Big East. Remember they're really strong when the guy did the compound break in the Elite Eight game or whatever it was versus Michigan. Was that Ware? His name was Ware from Louisville. Yeah, but that was a very strong Big East, I believe. So they've gone through these things. One thing they haven't really done is said, boy, we love that Big Ten. All right.
Kevin Ware.
Huh?
That's who it was.
Kevin Ware. Ugly injury. All right. So let's keep going. Zach Welch says, not important now because it's go time for the Boilers, but next year I would love to see Cox play some. Yeah, we were talking about this. Play some point to allow Braden 5 to 8 minutes. You sound just like me. This is awesome. Zach, you and I are on the same page. 5 to 8 minutes a game on the bench for now, business trip time. Zach, you're the smartest man I know, and we don't know each other. So Jim Garfinkel asks, will I be going to the first round in Providence? It is in Providence, right? It's a Midwest game in the of course, when it's a Midwest game in the Providence. Will I be going? I will not be going to that game.
That's the deep in the Midwest.
Yeah, the heart of the Midwest in Providence. So I will not be going to that game. Maybe a couple years ago, I guarantee I would have been going. So, because I went to Hartford. I went to the Hartford Regional. Or is that regional? Yeah. Is it regional, the first round? What do they call it? What's the first round called in the NCAA tournament?
Round of 64?
Round of, yeah.
It's not called the regional.
No, the regional's going to be in Indianapolis, right? So, okay. Yeah, but I was in Hartford and I was in the Fleet Center. So, but anyway, sidebar. But the idea is Zach Welch about Braden playing or getting 5 to 8 minutes on the bench, starting early in the season. I understand the idea of not doing it, but man, that's what I'd love to see. And maybe they can have a meeting and Braden can say, I was watching Boiler Dowd, my pal. He was looking through the window because he's right out there at AJ's. And he said, Coach, I'd love to have a couple minutes to stay fresh for March. I'm sure that's going to happen in their meeting. So
Lively leg.
yeah. But game time, it's here. So let's see. Let's go down. Yeah. Who's Johnny says, no slowing down the silver bullets. Curves. Yeah. Christina KV says, best possible draw for Purdue, in my opinion. I completely agree. It's better than I thought it'd be. So what did you say? Did you say they'd be a 5 or a 4? 5 or 4 for Purdue. I can't remember. What was your prediction? You said 4. So I did not.
Oh, interesting stat.
Yeah.
In the last 14 of the last 15 tournaments, the top 4 seeds lost their first.
How many? Every
14 of the last 15.
Okay.
The top 4 seed has lost their first.
Okay, there you go. So 14 of the last 15 years, a number 4 seed has
No,
lost.
a top 4 seed
A top 4 seed.
lost their first game.
Oh, I would think it'd be even more than that, right? Than 1, right?
What?
I'm confused by that. So
All right, in 14 of the last 15 tournaments,
yes,
a team who's been in the top one of the top 4 seeds has lost their first.
I can't believe it's not more, right? Doesn't it feel like the last couple of years parity's been so great, right? Yeah. I get yeah. So yeah, it's on the table. I think is what you're saying, right? That you can lose. So yeah, definitely. I think there's more parity in college basketball than ever. And I think the biggest testament to that this year would be look at all the teams with, I'd say, questionable or marginal records that got into the dance. I mean, and then poor IU gets left out still. Gosh,
So close, yeah.
we're all gonna cry in our beverages tonight.
Shouldn't have played such a tough non-con.
Exactly. Yeah, they always have such a tough non-con. Man. South Haven Boiler says, like Tom Crean's comments on North Carolina getting over Indiana, said the tie goes to the blue blood. Oh my gosh. I didn't hear that. That is awesome. So that's the first time I've heard that. I love that because that's a double punch in the face. Crean said that. That's great. I'll let you guys chew on that for a minute. Why that's fine. That's awesome. All right. Uncle Craig Mockabee says, let's go Boilers. Good to see you, Craig. Hope you're well. Who's Johnny again says, Seth has UConn losing in the first round. I don't. But Seth, he does it for a living. So Adam says, thanks, Kyle. He's now left our presence. Let's see. Michael's talking to Uncle Craig. I'm going to go down here. Jack-O-Lantern22 says, J Money says, I'd have enjoyed IU needing to trudge through a game in Dayton very much. Yeah, I get that. And we were talking about that. Michael said that too, I believe. The thing that I have a problem with that is a team you don't like or don't love. I mean, I'm close to loving IU, but not really. But a lot of times those teams get some momentum in Dayton. But IU has struggled there, right? Did we say IU's last time there? Is that the one where they went to Dayton, then went to the Northwest? And they complained about having to travel 2,500 miles and getting late flights and all that deal.
They've been in sense, haven't they? That wasn't the last time, was it?
In the plan?
They haven't been playing, but haven't they been in sense?
In the tournament? Yeah. They have. The last time they were in Dayton, though.
Yeah.
So I guess the precedent's there for them to complain, which is always funny. Kevin in Albuquerque says IU's going to be watching to see if Grand Canyon can beat Maryland before backing up the Brinks truck to Bryce Drew's house. There are a lot of people. I like it. There are a lot of people that think they understand or know what IU's going to do, right? Who have you guys heard? Anybody?
I've heard it.
Okay.
I haven't paid attention.
Beard is one that I've heard.
Brownell's a rumor.
Huh? Brownell from Clemson is one. Of course, Creighton's coach. Huh? What's his name? Dagnabbit. I think. Yeah, I think he'd be a good hire for them.
Branch
McCracken, bring him back out of the grave. But Bryce Drew is another one that I think would be a good fit. Of course, being an Indiana kid. The question is, I keep saying this, and I have nothing. I have no attachment to IU. But the question, I think this hire could say who controls IU. Are the old school guys still in control? Right? And I think that's a very interesting thing to watch. When I say old school guys, I mean the guys who say Bobby, right? Graduated as players, that sort of thing. Because obviously they got their wish last time with Woodson. And then talk about backing up the Brinks truck. They did it for this year's team. All you guys who swear that the portal is the only way to success, look at IU. Okay, and I'm not going to listen. Purdue's going to get. I think they're going to get a boost. 2 or 3 players out of the portal in this offseason. I'm not saying they're not, and I'm not saying the portal can't be used well. But I will say this. How about this? So I brought this up to these guys. One thing that I haven't given enough credit to is Lance Jones' on-ball defense. And I really have not done this season enough. I was looking back at some stats from last season, and somebody brought up Terrence Shannon and Circuitous. Anyway, Terrence Shannon went 3 of 13 versus Purdue last year, and Lance Jones was on him most of the game. And Terrence Shannon is a beast of an athlete, right? So we really missed that this year. So we could, me personally, I'm the guilty culprit. When I talk about losing the program's best player in history was a big deal, obviously. But man, I have not talked enough about Lance Jones' on-ball defense and how much that made a difference. Those other guards really did. So, Big Time Boiler comes back, says hopefully Purdue treats this tournament as a new season and we start playing winning basketball again. Can definitely happen. New life. Yeah, so I'll take a straw poll right now among loyalists here. And thanks to everybody for tuning in. Do you think this team I hate saying these words because it's like internet speak, but is Purdue cooked based on what we've seen? Is the script already written that maybe they get by one, they're not getting by two, or is there a chance that a switch can be flipped? I don't know about this switch being flipped. My buddy Ron Gable, he was on here earlier. He really thinks there's a chance this team could do the switch, the flipping of the switch, and he looks back to the Carson Edwards team. And I keep talking about that nuclear nature of Carson Edwards. We all knew it was there. I mean, Braden Smith's had some great games, right? But the guy who my son says the guy who has the most chance of just going thermonuclear on the team is C.J. Cox quickly, right? But he's not going to have the ball in his hands a whole bunch yet. Right, he's not exactly. In fact, every time it seems like he does well pay, it's like here's the hook.
Yeah.
No more of that. Sorry. All right. Brock Stepler says, I skipped over Matt Keller. Matt Keller says, High Point lost to the last place team in the Missouri Valley Conference by 10. I didn't see that. Like I said, I have not watched a lot of High Point. So he says he's not worried. Very good possibility to get to the Sweet 16. I like it. And I'm going to watch a little bit of High Point now. You know, I'll go on the YouTubes and check out some highlights, but I am not a High Point educated person. I hope there's some High Point fans coming on here. Love to talk to you. Got nothing against High Point at all. You gave us Jihad Proctor. I mean, dag nabbit. We like Jihad Proctor. Okay. And Todd told me, in case you wonder, Iona to High Point, to Purdue. He's one of those three-stop guys. Another portal. That's not portal era yet. No, that's pre. Right, grad transfer. And that's what, I still think Paint prefers grad transfers out of the portal. I still think that's what he's going to try to do. Adults, right? But the funny thing is he's going to try to get guys that have a better head on their shoulders. That's what that comes with, right? They've been around a little bit, right? But I think he likes the contribution they can bring to the culture, right? So let's bring this up. Great point, Matt, though. I don't know if I have the confidence you are. You have. Brock Stepler says, High Point is full of experienced guards. I was looking. Okay, good. So that's what. That's. If you've listened to me and you believe what I say, that's a big problem. So, but we'll see. I'm going to look at those guys and this is a tough name. Looks like when will the thrill or when W1N will the thrill? Boiler up, huh?
That's Will.
Huh? Huh? Oh, really? Okay, awesome. Here?
No.
Okay. All right. Says Boiler Up. Hi, Adam. Let's see. Are we watching from home or on the couch? Of course. Yeah.
They're at home.
Right. Okay, they're home. That's awesome. Okay, good. Awesome. I wish I could have gotten that earlier. I can never read ahead.
That's all right.
This is a problem. So like someone could put in, I'm not going to encourage that. I'm not even going to do it. Not going to put it. Matt Hotsteller says, no. Boiled Sports is the best Purdue basketball podcast. God bless you. Wish I could have made it over to AJ's tonight next time. Yes. And I think we officially have, I said 3 years makes a tradition.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
It's like right behind Grand Prix.
Yes. Of all the Purdue traditions, this is second or third
Yes.
in all the lore.
This is actually the most fun of all.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no pressure in this one.
No, this one, it's easy, man. Enjoy some delicious food, watch some TV, talk to good people. Doesn't get any better. Come next year, Matt. Let's make a date. Next year you'll be here. Put it on the calendar.
First Sunday of spring break.
Right, that's right. It's the campus is always dead, but I love being in here. I mean, that's the thing. What'd you say?
Easier to park.
Yeah, it's easier to park. Yeah, there's always good parking right here when the kids are off campus. But the other thing is, like, I can actually stream without worrying about noise. I mean, when you come in here after a game, man, it's a madhouse in there. So, Metal Scholar 007 says, hey, all, first live stream I've made in a couple months. Work comes up. That's true. Glad to be here. Glad you're here. Jay Westfall says, good news on the Seed and Midwest. Hammer down to LBD from Houston. I'll pass it on because he is not watching. He's at work right now. So, Quack Like a Duck says, Ethan Morton scored a career high to help his team win their conference tourney, which kept IU out of the tourney. That's a really good point. That's kind of a, yeah. So, that's fun.
Were they a bubble team?
I would say they were a bubble team coming in.
Yeah, they were the second team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Virginia was first team out. IU was second team.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
no, I meant Ethan's team.
Was Colorado State?
We're
Yeah.
not going to make it.
Yeah.
They weren't going to make it.
Yeah, the funny thing, they won 11 straight or 10 straight to end the season. And somebody posted this. Their rankings, their offense and defense efficiency in that streak is incredible. Like they're playing as a top 10 brand of basketball right now. Granted, you got to take it with a little grain of salt because of competition, but I would say it's the hashtag. I said this right. Hashtag Ethan Morton effect, no doubt. So good for Ethan. It's awesome. I'm going to skip down just because I'm getting a ton in here. Let's see. Motor City Boiler says they could get hot, but I'm not confident about it. I think Motor City Boiler and I are a lot alike. I've interacted with him on Twitter quite a bit. So I hate to be the guy who's peeing in people's Cheerios, but I'll do it. And I have. Robert Gill says, isn't on-ball defense C.J. Cox's biggest strength? Yes. Okay, Robert, good point. Now here's the difference. You ready? And I think you're going to say, oh, yeah. But C.J. Cox is very young. And you see it during teams. When he plays bigger, stronger, more physical teams, he gets spun around a little bit, right? He is a good on-ball defender. He is a high-energy guy. He's got a good motor, but he's not mature yet physically, right? And mentally, this is a good year just to have a guy on the court that much. So, yes, he's the best on-ball defender on the team. Maybe, right? I would say.
Colvin's been pretty good.
Sure, Colvin has been pretty good, but the Michigan game. So everybody's got a little bit of improvement. Colvin has if Colvin does the improvement between freshman and sophomore year defensively, he could be all Big Ten defense next year.
Yeah.
No doubt. And if Cox gets a couple more pounds of muscle on him, he's going to watch his tape. He could be all Big Ten defense too. Huh?
He just needs more knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Just get a little yoked, huh?
The whole team could get
They do. Yep. Yeah, Robert Gill says, is it possible, or he says it's quite possible, that the team has just been waiting all year to get back to the tournament? Sure, but this team didn't have the mentality of the team last year, right? That team was mad all year, right? And I know many of them were on that team, but it's a different thing. Once you get to the championship, I think one thing that I saw, and I said this in the championship, after the championship last year, I saw a lot of guys, I think many Purdue fans were pretty happy Purdue got to the Final Four. I think many people in the media thought it was a coronation of UConn. Purdue did not get that memo. The players did, right? You look at the reaction of those guys, they were flat out angry, right? And I think that was a good thing to see. Maybe you go back and watch a little of that film and play absolutely out of your mind, and good things can happen. But I think it's a little different mentality, obviously, this team. So let me see if anybody. I've not read IC's comment today, I don't think. How tough a matchup is Clemson, assuming we can handle High Point? I think Clemson's good. But I don't think, and maybe you guys can correct me, I don't think Clemson has the guard play, right? Their power forward's really good. He looks like a 15-year-old. But he's very, very good. So Purdue's Achilles heel or their kryptonite is guard play. So I'd say when you look at the draw, you're going to play good guards. You're going to play good teams. You're going to play well-coached teams. But Purdue got a good draw for Purdue. I'll say that. That's all that said, we saw many times this year where Purdue was not tuned in the game and they just got blasted, right? So, all right. Let's keep going. Jeff Nestor says, I like that Clark and Seth, it was Clark Kellogg was the other one, and Seth from CBS are picking High Point and Clemson over Purdue, as that kind of stuff helps motivate teams. If I were anybody, I would not. The guy you don't want to give bulletin board material to is Braden Smith. I mean, his whole life is a chip on his shoulder, right? I mean, there is no chip. He's the chip, right? The dude is built that way, right? So, yeah.
Are you saying no?
Yeah.
Like a chip?
Huh? What did you say?
Are you a chip?
Yeah. I've tried to get rid of it. I'm 49 now, right? So it's a little different when you're younger. I'm reading Ron Gable here. He says, I don't expect the 2019 results, but I don't write the Boilers off at this point. Fair. Like 2019, they could beat or lose anyone. Yeah. So I think the thing that we say when we think this year that Purdue could beat anybody, we point back to the Alabama game And what other games can we say? And I'll tell you why Alabama is a good matchup for Purdue, in spite of the fact they've got good guards.
They destroyed Michigan the first time.
Right. And the second time I had a huge asterisk. The second loss to Michigan. First loss to Michigan, second game against Michigan. But the problem is when Purdue played really good teams this year, wasn't great, right? The reason Alabama works versus Purdue is the same reason Fran McCaffrey doesn't beat Painter either, right? They don't play defense, right? And Mackey Arena was absolutely a madhouse that night. Were you at that one?
Michigan game?
No, Alabama. Okay. Yeah, LBD was there. He called me afterwards and was just like, "Ugh!" So he was so stoked. So that was awesome. Let's see. Let's see if anybody. Jack O'Lantern says, "Yeah, great. I'm not going to say that. Good job. You almost got me. Good job."
He's going, right?
That's good, huh?
This is in his backyard.
It's that's about. I'm not going to tell you where he is, but yes. Yeah, we try to keep that download. Let's see, Karen. I don't think I've read Karen's comment today. Karen Grulak says, Seth Davis throwing shade at Purdue, BTFU. Still sicker than a dog. Sorry, Karen. Get well. Hope your symptoms have smoothed out a little bit. It's no fun, though, especially multiple days like that. And I think I'm going to call it a day because you guys are great, but getting a lot of they keep popping up, so it's really good. Thanks to everybody for being here live. Thanks to all you guys for streaming live as well. Like my dad said, this is higher resolution than even the best camera can. It's really high. Looks like life. So thanks for tuning in. God bless you. Hammer down. Purdue's in the tournament. They're a 4 seed playing in Providence on Thursday, and we're happy. And guess what? Look at that. Mike's here. Thanks for nothing. God bless you. Hammer down, and we'll have a handsome hour for you tomorrow at 9:00 ish. We'll see you late.
You ever sleep?